take away from the fact of, you know, maybe he had to save someone else's life, whatever the situation is. But why the gun to kill is the first thing you grab when she did not have a gun, she had a knife. What happens to all that martial arts kung fu training that police go through to snap somebody's arm in 5 places?
So the thing about it is, I think of it more as like a quarterback type thing. Like, so in essence of me being a defensive tackle, I have to go through the nose tackle to get to the QB.
Okay.
If the QB is the same distance away from me as that the cop was standing right there, I'm a defensive tackle, and then this young lady is the quarterback. The bad part is I would not have been able to get, if he's about to launch it and I'm about to take off at that point, my brain is not thinking, hey, I can reach him before he throws it. I'm like, yo, he's about to let it go. I'm not about to hit him because I'm going to get a late hit. But then also in the essence, how many other things do I have to go through to get to this quarterback? In essence, also too, as well as I think of it as like those little machine, those stem machines.
Yeah.
You put that stem machine on my leg and you crank it up high enough, I'll still be able to run it out, but my leg will still shake and do all that other stuff and do this and muscle spasms. So if he tases her, and that young lady was not small, I don't know if that would have been enough to put it through to her. That's not going to cause her to still be able to concisely do the action that she is about to slit that young lady's throat.
See, I guess that's where like I need to see more complete details, right? Because that's the problem with these videos when they come out, is we all, like you said, you have to take a second back to think, to focus, get the facts, because what happens is the videos come out and then, I'm gonna be honest, folks, I hate social media. I really do, because we all have to rush to the nearest social media outlet and put in our comments and put in our tweets and put in our
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't even comment on stuff anymore. Like
right.
that Jordan Wall, like not that Jordan Wallace, but that country singer that dropped the N-word.
Oh, Morgan Wallace. Yeah.
I left that one. I was like, and he's profited off of that.
Right.
Profited 4 times the amount that he would have made at the record label. So I'm just like sitting here going, sounds like you got what you got dropped by your record label, but sounds like you made 4 times the amount you would have made anyway if you purchased some music without that happening. So you basically profited off of the situation that happened. I digress, but I mean that's a whole nother.
Well, the biggest flex is Donald Sterling was racist and then made $2 billion because he had to sell his team because the NBA wanted to get him out for his racism, and he made $2 billion off that deal. With systemic racism, specifically when it comes to the policing, right? My thoughts and views, and you could, disagree, whatever you want. My view is always, when it comes to the position of police officer, is we ask that position to do way too much, right? We ask that position to do 15 different things, like you said. And those who know the training better than I do, who can speak to it better than I do, maybe they say, nah, we're good, we can handle it. But in my opinion, clearly some of you can't, right? Because like you say, take that situation where she's waving the knife. He has to, in his mind, in split second time, figure out what's happening, who's happening to what, how am I going to take care of it? And maybe, just maybe, that's too advanced for that particular police officer or that particular position. Maybe we need something that's in between him and SWAT that handles situations like that.
Yeah, but the problem is in situations like that, you got to think it's like A and B team, and you're like, I have to send B team to this one. Oh, this is really an A team problem, but A team is busy right now, but yeah, we sent B team.
Right.
That's kind of like sending the people off of the bench when it's like the starters thing.
He
Everybody,
he could have been the B team, though, is what I'm saying. He could have been the C team. He
that's the
could have sent
problem, though.
all the good people could have been out.
It's just like kind of like firefighters. When you send them out, like you send an ambulance out, it's for an ambulance, car crash, everything that.
Right.
And they just said drivers out of vehicle, everything that. They didn't say that the driver is pinned underneath a vehicle, it's crushing his life. So then what do they have to do after that? They have to send rescue after that.
Right.
But the problem is rescue and that are preoccupied with that accident, but another one happens a mile away at that time. What's already there? You have to send the engine and another ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that situation that he ran into, how do you know that's an ABC ranking?
True.
They do the same thing with like people who are medical, like they have to make that split decision when a big tornado happens or something like that. And then you have to put those tags around their neck and say, hey, you're critical, you're this, you're that. And then there's that one person. Do we have an A rank nurse, a B rank nurse, a C rank nurse to make that decision? Is this an A team thing? Because at that time, I don't care if I have an A, B, or C, or D. I'm going to send a body, but you better be good enough to decide whether or not somebody's broken leg and somebody's lacerated eye. The broken leg that is bleeding out is over the lacerated eye.
You know what the problem is, CQ? Is if you take Ma'Khia Bryant alone as a case by itself, and all these things that you mention and bring up, I will agree with, without question. The problem is we've seen way too many times, way too many videos of adults with more than knives, waving things around, threatening people's lives.
I've
don't get
videos.
4 hot ones in the chest.
I've seen what about that young man who shot up a whole entire church?
Yes, took him alive.
And I'm sitting there going, anybody? Is this mic on? Anybody? Anybody see this? And I'm just sitting here going, how are you still alive?
And that's what the problem is for me, is I cannot separate her particular case from the rest of the world and timeline that we have seen of the police not killing those who don't look like her, but picking the gun, and she ends up being the one to lose her life. So,
but then also, in essence, one thing I want to ask back is everybody's saying the one thing that is like, we can't keep calling out everything. And the one thing that also is what we really need to go back to is identifying this is racism. Because everybody is too quick to be like, hey, that's racist. And
are you asking white people to identify racism?
No,
they're not good at it. Sorry,
there's some people,
my white people that are listening, I love you guys, but some of y'all is not good at identifying true racism. If it ain't the N-word, they can't figure it out.
The bad part is we do that as a culture sometimes too, where I'm like, no, did you go through the necessary steps to identify that this is racist? Because there are certain steps where an African American, if you want to say that this is racist, in your mind, you have to click some boxes. You have to, but we are too quick to be like this. So you know what happens is when you always cry wolf all the time, you're literally just instantly crying wolf. Makes it so that when something really actually happens, they're like, hey man, they always do this. And AO keyword, they always do this.
Right.
Too many people are using this movement and this awareness that we're trying to make on everything that's happening, not just police, not just this, everything that's happening. People have cried wolf so much that it's now become our norm. Like, hey man, that was, and you're like, no, bro. There's a lot of people who come in and out of this supermarket that walk out with product and don't pay for it. Trust me, I get stopped at Walmart too. And I'm like, wait a minute, time out. You ain't see that young lady that's got like a big cart? I got some dog food on my shoulder. That lady has like 4 bags of Egos, some water guns, and you're not checking her receipt.
Right.
And I'm just sitting here going, there's certain situations where I'm like, all right, okay, so she's not being checked. I have 1 bag. Do I raise it and go, this is it? Or I just go, well, I came here before she got here. She's focused on me. I have a big bag of dog food. I don't have a receipt on me. It looks like I don't have a bag. You see what I'm saying?
No,
like
I
in
do.
My brain, I have to do that stuff. But too many people will be like, "Oh, you stopped me," and I go, "That lady right next to you that had that bag, that cart full of stuff was black too." But all of a sudden, my brain has to go to she's being racist, and I'm like, no, I got here before. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I have to do that. But too many people or too many kids are throwing that card out there, and you haven't yet to identify. So if somebody comes up to you and be like, how do you think they're being racist? Well, they did this. So that one thing, she kept like that older gentleman in Texas Roadhouse. He was staring at me the whole time. I kept looking at him. He was staring at me. And my wife said he watched me walk to the bathroom. He saw me do this. He saw me do that. And then this, that, and the other. I don't know what he did after I left, what he said to the waitress. But 2 to 3 bubbles were filled out on that questionnaire sheet there. And if he had brought it to my attention and said something, I'd have been like, either you're staring at my wife, because my wife is a very pretty woman, or you just thought I was in the wrong place at the wrong time and I shouldn't be eating where I'm eating. I should be eating over in the corner.
Yeah. I mean, this is...
Or is it the way that I'm dressed? Is it the glasses that I wear? Is it because I have dreads in my hair? I ran out of hairstyles. I'm sorry.
Your beard is luxurious, my man. Just to let you know, I'm jealous.
I appreciate it. I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing. I have to keep it. Just keep it. Just maintain. I mean, I couldn't grow this in high school, so I mean, now
I hope you couldn't grow a 38-year-old beard in high school.
That would be it. Wait a minute, time out. There's some people that had the, and you're just sitting there going like, why can't I get all that?
Because you're not 38 in high school. That's why. Listen.
Yeah, but I didn't start growing this until I was like 21.
Listen, you bring up a point, and this is definitely a conversation I will have with you in the future again, and I'll have with different people, because you do bring up something that there is a difference between the ism and the ist, right? There is a difference between racism, racist, and illicit bias. Like, there are differences and there are degrees to that, right? Where a lot of, especially those who consider themselves progressive Caucasians, might do something that drips of the ism, but that doesn't make them racist. You see what I'm saying? And so
yeah, it's like a continuous thing where you have a continuous habit. But the problem is like, we in essence don't wait and see. Like, we automatically have to be like, and you're like, no, that's just the way that he speaks. Like, nobody ever says the N-word to me, but sometimes I do.
I got hit with the N-word the other day. Someone cut me off because they said I almost hit them, and they hit me with the N-word. And it was the first time I got hit with the N-word in probably like 10 years. And for a moment, I didn't know how to digest all those emotions, right? Because like you said before, he tried to box me in. I'm trying to leave the situation scene, because if the police come, ain't no chance that they're gonna believe me over him, whatever situation is.
Yeah, and then you have to tell them that, he called me the N-word. Yeah, the police report's gonna be real long with that one. And then it's gonna be like, yep, he called me the N-word. So you, in essence, beat the brakes off of him, and then you're like, you're gonna have to explain. Well, you're a grown man. Words shouldn't hurt you. And then he's gonna get the you shouldn't have said anything that you should have. But then now he sues you. You lose your license. You lose your job. That's Pebble effect right there. Is because he did something and he knew that he was like, if I throw this card out here and it was my fault, I could get away with it. If I throw that word at him and then he's the wrong guy to say that word to, then he explodes and then I get to sue him and then I get to do this, that, and the other. And then I get to take away all his livelihood and I'll win. You remember that time I got beat up and I made all that money, even though I was in the wrong, and I could sleep at night.
Well, thankfully, that word does not like trigger me. I just kind of laugh at it. There are words that aren't that I could be called that might trigger that response. That's not one of them. All right, but something that might trigger you.
When somebody insults my intelligence.
Yes,
I got 2 degrees that will say my intelligence is highly up there.
Degrees.
I'm like, don't you dare ever call me the R word or tell me that I am uneducated and then try and make me feel beneath you, because last time I checked, when I hit that 6'4" status, I am mentally nor physically beneath you.
Well, that goes back to that you can't be the black man that you are, right? Because they questioning the intelligence is a move that they all play, right? It's a move we play when it comes to football. Justin Fields is getting hit with that. Go check that video out with Kyle Barney, Justin Fields, about how he's getting slandered with that, where they say he isn't smart enough as a quarterback, right? We as African American men and African American general get hit with that, where you're not as smart or that talk down to. Like, boy, calling me boy is one of the things that will have fists in face very quickly.
Yeah, that is I'm like, no. First off, usually I answer the boy talk with, first off, I pay taxes. Thank you very much. And I own a home. And all my cars are paid for. Yeah, that's what I thought. Boys don't do that. What they do is they buy fancy cars, can't pay for them, and don't pay the IRS. Yeah, don't play me like that. Nah, sir. I'm a grown man.
This verdict gives hope to the hopeless. However, let us not forget that this was just one battle in an endless war. Amber Geiger of the Dallas PD on September 6, 2018, went into the wrong apartment and killed a 26-year-old accountant named Botham John, believing him to be a burglar in his own apartment. She just recently filed an appeal for the murder charge that she was given. So if things have changed, then should it be denied? Should her appeal be denied, right? If things have changed, if the system has moved forward after this Derek Chauvin guilty verdict came through, we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Dante Wright in that case, with that police officer who grabbed the wrong equipment, who thought they grabbed the taser, but grabbed the gun and killed Dante Wright. We spoke about Ma'Khia Bryant in that situation. We'll have to wait and see what that happens when that investigation goes through. But let us do our part. Whatever that part is, conversations like this, conversations with each other to explain the difference between faux racism and real racism. Real talks about true police reform. True talks about real judiciary reform. True talks about electing the right people to make sure that things like what's happening in Georgia with the voter suppression doesn't happen, and make sure we put the right people in place. These are things that we can do as regular, everyday people to have real change at the grassroots level. And with that being said, Christian Quaye, thank you very much for being on with us. I appreciate it.
I definitely want to come back. I definitely want to. I'd have to say, and I want to say this from the bottom of my heart, to have this conversation with my oldest friend, not my newest friend, my oldest friend, who's gone through the same situations, that comes from my hometown, because in Iowa, nobody knows the way I grew up. They just see the end result of it. He knows the beginning, the middle, the end, the tears, the setbacks, the Ghanaian accent, everything like that. To have this conversation with other people without having to throw it out to a broader audience to make sure it sticks or make sure that it actually resonates with somebody, it gives me more background and gives me more of a sense that he knows me. He can speak to the voice that I am speaking from. But somebody that knows me today that meets me tomorrow won't know any of the things that I do. So what credibility do I have when you don't know any of those stories that he just stated? Think about that. The story that I have has no credibility because nobody can speak of your past if you're in a different place. The more conversations you have with somebody, you better understand somebody, the more of a difference you can have without seeking credibility. Like so much people have been asking every time a story pops up, what's your credibility? Was he a drug dealer? Was he this? Was he that? Why do you have to call my credibility? But yet this man here is my physical credibility. Do I need him in the court of law?
Well, Quaye, CQ, you this has been fantastic. This has been one of the best interviews that I've had. You will definitely be on again because we have to go through so many different things. I definitely want to dive deeper with the talk of police reforms and things like that. I have those conversations with you because, like you said, you were looking into becoming a police officer and things like that. So I want to talk to you about that. I want to talk about true racism. So believe me, ladies and gentlemen, CQ will be back on this show in the not too distant future. All right. So be prepared to see that face. Hopefully with some better lighting to see that face on here soon. So if you have liked the video, of course you have, hit the like button, subscribe to Ask a Black Dude YouTube channel. There's plenty of other content on there as well. The N-word conversation I had with Kyle Barney, Justin Fields, Christian, go check that out because it's about football and you like football. The downward bubble and other situations like that. I have the Ask a Black Dude Facebook page. Go like that. Follow that. We put content on there on a regular basis, as well as the ask _a_black_dude_ on the Instagram channel. I tried to make it more streamlined than that, CQ, but all the other stuff was taken, so that was what it gave me.
I'll help you. I'll help you out. I got a marketing degree too, so I can answer.
My man, I need you. See, look at that, folks. Networking on the show. Again, we are the foundation of real change. If we want real change for the future of generations, then we have to start right now. Not 5 years from now, not 10 years from now, right now. We cannot kick this can down the road. We have to take the bull by the horns. How many cliches can I throw at you for you to understand that the future depends on us? It's been Ask a Black Dude. I'll see you on the next one.